Hi everybody and welcome. My name's Julie Mann. I am a professional network marketer, an actor, and I'm also an EFT practitioner. And today I'm joined by copywriter Anna Dewis. Hello.
Hello, Jules.
I remember meeting Anna, I don't know how long ago it was, Anna. It's over 20 years ago on a weekend women's writing course.
That's right.
And when I saw Anna, I thought, oh my goodness, who is this woman? She's loud, she's really funny, and she's got so much to say. And that's when really we started to become friends, wasn't it?
That's true, yes. And I spent the night in your house, and then it all went from there, really. And we haven't stopped laughing.
We haven't, and that's what I love about you. So I know that you grew up in Hinckley. I don't know if you were born there.
Where is that?
Exactly, tell us.
It's in Leicestershire. It's a small market town that used to be the centre of the hosiery industry of the world. Now I'm exaggerating, of the UK, and now it's nothing.
Well, it's full of Hinckley ramblers, isn't it?
Absolutely, rambling up and down that high street looking for a shop.
Looking for some hosiery. So what was life like for you growing up as a girl in Hinckley?
I had a very happy childhood. I loved going to school. I loved playing sport. I loved acting, writing, and I had lots of friends. I didn't know what was beyond Hinckley, really. And it wasn't until I left home when I was 19 and went down to Bournemouth to be a chambermaid that I realised there was life outside of Hinckley.
So that must have been quite a brave step, I imagine.
Yes, it was actually, I suppose. But I was just itching to get away because Hinckley just it wasn't enough. It didn't contain me. It couldn't contain me. I knew there was something more exciting out there.
So you mentioned that you were writing. Were you writing from a very young age then, Anna?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I always liked English. I wrote poems, I wrote plays. I remember writing a play when I was in the Girl Guides, and I was about 9, and making all the girls in my little, what were they called? The groups.
They're not troops, so they don't know.
Whatever. Making them perform this play. They didn't want to, but I was very bossy.
Still are.
Yeah, still are. So yeah, I was writing from an early age, stories. I always loved reading. So
when did you actually though discover that you had a talent for it and that you wanted to pursue it as a career?
I don't know that I thought I had a talent. I didn't know. I knew I enjoyed it, but I didn't know that there were jobs that you could do that would allow me to express myself on paper. Until I was in my mid-20s when I went to work. I was in London by now, working in sort of admin, just temping. And I went to work for a design company called Conran Design Group, which was Terence Conran's company. And I was just sort of temping, doing secretarial work and not being very good at it, as I hated typing and I hated typing for other people. So I used to be the worst secretary. They'd give me something to do and I'd go, oh, for God's sake, what? And so everybody was frightened to give me any work. So I was ripe for development and, my career. And then there was a PR department at the company and they needed somebody to support the PR manager. And I applied for the job because I knew I liked writing. And I thought, well, I think you do a lot of writing in that sort of work. So got the job, and then I was writing to promote the business and the various aspects of the business. And then I wrote an internal newsletter, which was just sort of interviewing people who work there and find out what they were doing day to day, and making it funny, which I enjoyed. So it wasn't like it was a job. I was just enjoying myself with all my friends in the business. And I was also organising parties and, internal functions or whatever. So it wasn't like a proper job. So that's when I started writing and started enjoying writing. And I was writing about design, which I was interested in. And then I left there and then went into a PR consultancy where I was doing more writing, but also being a PR consultant, which meant meeting the press, liaising with your client, and basically you have to be nice to people when you work in PR. And I wasn't very good at that. I liked the writing side, but I didn't like all the schmaltzy, the schmoozing, oh, that's a lovely dress you're wearing. You know, you had to be really, oh, and it was all a bit false and fake and not me. So, but I really liked the writing. So, and then I did that for a couple of years, and then I went off, became freelance and started doing PR as a freelancer for the companies I enjoyed working for. So it wasn't, I wasn't being false or fake anymore. I was promoting something that I believed in and I liked, I enjoyed. And so so I did that, and then I was very lucky. A friend of mine was working at the Body Shop as a writer, and they were looking for somebody else just for 2 or 3 days a week. And I got the gig, and it was like my writing career then sort of skyrocketed, because suddenly I was working for a high street retailer. Everybody had heard of, everybody knew about them and was impressed by them. They were very, they were very current, and they were gung-ho, and they were, breaking all these barriers down, and there was a woman at the helm, and it was just so vital an organisation and exciting. And I got to write everything from writing the packaging, the label on the side of a pot, to a poster in the windows that would go nationwide, to I edited a book for Anita Roddick as well. So lots and lots of variety.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great.
So I know now you work as a freelance, don't you?
Yeah.
So what would you say is the day-to-day, what are the kind of day-to-day things you do as a copywriter?
Well, it depends. Being freelance, for a start, being freelance means you go through spates of not working at all. And then you go through spates of really, really busy. And it always seems to me to be feast or famine, which is something that, it's hard when you first start, and then you sort of get used to it. Well, you sort of get used to it, but it's still hard, not knowing what's coming and how long it's going to be until you get your next job, and then when it comes in, there's another job to do, and you get flooded. And how can you maintain and manage that level of work? So that all takes a while to get used to. On a day-to-day basis, say for example I'm working. So let's imagine I've got a job on. I tend to sit down at my desk at 9 o'clock. It's just a habit I have. And say I already know what I'm doing on a job. Say I'm writing a brochure, for example. It might take me a while to get going. If I've just started writing, it can take forever to write the first sentence. I always find the first sentence is the hardest thing to write. And so I might, write a few things, pick a book up, start reading something. I might, get up, walk about. I'm looking for that first sort of inspiration, that sort of the voice of what it is I'm writing. Once I've got that down, then it all flows. So if I'm on a roll, after I've written that first sentence, I get on a roll, and then I can keep going. I tend to take a lunch break, which might be, whatever it is, 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And then I'll carry on writing till, it's a sort of a 9 to 5, really. If it's a big job and I've got lots to do, I might get up really early the following morning to finish something off. But I don't tend to write beyond 6 o'clock, because I'm a morning person. So if I've been writing all day, I've got no energy by 6 o'clock. So I tend to stop. And I'll pick it up again the following day. So it's a normal working day, really, but bearing in mind I'm working at home, there's lots of distractions. The kitchen floor always needs cleaning somehow. I've got a perfectly clean, spotlessly clean kitchen floor, because of course you procrastinate when you work at home. I don't know whether you find this, Jules. I can find 1,000,001 things to do rather than write sometimes. You know, if I'm not got my mojo, you know, my creative mojo, I will find anything else to distract me.
Yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it, with being at home? For me, I set a timer. So I do sort of short bursts usually. That works for me, so I can get up and do something else. Yeah. So you talked about the challenge really of, you know, being feast and famine. So how do you deal with that, the actual famine?
Good question. I have faith. I think I always have faith that it's going to come in first and foremost. A lot of people say to me who aren't freelance, say, I could never be freelance. I couldn't deal with the insecurity of it. How do you do that? How have you paid a mortgage, you know, and been, you know, solvent and been able to go on holiday and all those things that people who are employed and have a regular paycheck manage to, you know, they can do that because they know whatever happens, they're going to still get paid. But, you know, how do you go on holiday not knowing if when you get back there'll be any work to do? So faith, I just have faith in this is will come. And obviously you have to do all the social media stuff. You have to put yourself about. I mean, in the old days, it would be that you would phone up the companies. You would know where the business might come from. And most of my work comes from design companies. And you would just maintain a relationship with people in design companies. So you'd be, you know, periodically phoning them up, sending them an email, just reminding them that you exist, because you're only ever as good as your last job, I think, as a freelancer. So, you know, you've done a job that's gone, been printed, looks lovely, and that's it. And they forget about you. They don't see you because you're not face to face with them in their space every day. So you have to maintain that relationship so that they don't ever forget you.
I don't know how anyone could forget you. But going back to social media and that being the kind of new way of doing things, how did you adapt to that?
That's hard, I think, because it's not my natural way, I think, to, I don't know, be sort of out there visible and chatting to people. And I think there's a fine line between being seen to be promoting yourself, which I always find a little bit distasteful. I don't know whether that's because I'm British. You know, the Americans find it much easier, don't they? It comes naturally to them. I'm not one for blow my own trumpet too much. You know, I think this is what I do. Look at my website, you can see what I can do. But I don't, it doesn't sit comfortable with me to be banging on about myself and saying how wonderful I am. But you do have to, you do have to do that. So yes, I do a bit of, I do the social media, I'm visible, I comment on things, I start conversations. I forgot what your question was, but I'm just
no worries.
Rambling on.
Well, you're a hickley rambler, aren't you?
I am.
That was hard for me to say. I know that you write a really funny blog called Tales from My Handbag. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to change the name of that, because I think it should be more Tales from My Rucksack, because handbag, I'm not a handbag sort of a person. But anyway, the idea is it's just me looking at life in my idiosyncratic way, and I like to have a laugh about everything. And, you know, why take something seriously when you can take the piss out of it? So I just enjoy, and things happen in life, don't they? And I try and make notes to remind myself, oh, that was a funny thing that happened. And you can really milk the simplest of stories and make them sound, you know, hilarious. So I enjoy, documenting my life, I suppose, and the funny things that happen to me from time to time.
Well, if anyone hasn't taken a look at your blog, I absolutely recommend it. It's very funny. So if anybody is watching, Anna, and they're an aspiring writer, what advice would you give them?
Oh, it's funny you should ask me this, because I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with a girl who wants to get into writing. She's been an English teacher and she was looking to move into writing. So I went through all the things with her, really, that, you know, so I talked about feast or famine. I talked about how you have to be resilient, and how you really have to promote yourself. Be prepared to stick your neck out. Be bold. You know, I said to her that if there's a particular area of work that you're interested in, say you're interested in, you know, the green movement, contact all the companies that you would like to write for, and write a fictitious piece of copy. You know, create something out of nothing. Just have an idea and show that what you can do, and send it off. You know, because that's how you're going to get your toe in. It's really hard unless you know people who are commissioning work. It's very, very difficult if you're new to the industry. So you really have to sort of stick your neck out and that's, I think, the way to do that is by creating something out of nothing that just showcases what you're capable of.
Brilliant. How can people find out more about you?
I have my own website, annadewis.com. And I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram yet, but everybody tells me I need to be, because I've always thought of it as a visual arena, but apparently not. It's more than that now. So, but yeah, or if people want to email me, annadewis.com. So, and I also belong to a writing agency called 26 letters of the alphabet. So yeah, that's how you can get hold of me.
Brilliant. And how would you like to be remembered, Anna?
Generally, or as a writer?
In whatever capacity you'd like to answer the question.
It's got to be something about having fun, hasn't it? So somebody who was up for a laugh, and kindness. I'd like to be thought of as kind. So I think kindness is something that we don't appreciate very much in society, and it's a small thing, but it means such a lot. So yeah, kindness.
Love that.
Kindness, fun, up for a laugh.
That'll be on your gravestone, won't it? She was up for a laugh, Anna.
Yeah.
Anything else you've got a burning desire to say before we close?
I've been in the sea this morning. I'd just like everybody to know I've been in the sea and it was bloody cold. And when I came out, I didn't think I could walk because my feet were so cold, I couldn't really feel them. And I thought I might fall over, but I didn't. I'm here. I'm still alive, and I'll probably go in again in the morning. So I would really recommend sea swimming. It really wakes you up and it kills your feet, but they come back to life eventually. So
Anna Dewis, thank you so much for talking, and thank you so much for being a really great friend.
Super. You too, Jules. Ciao for now.